For sheriffs?
I don't know.
Oh, they're in the other room. Somebody brought them in from the other room. I didn't, sorry.
Who I have one? Maybe this is last week's. It was last week's.
It is,
That explains that.
yeah.
There.
The only thing I don't like is I have two legs right here.
Those packets on top are for the budget.
That's okay, I can deal with that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Susie.
Did you just leave that in here?
Are these the same?
Yep.
Do you? Oh, did you get them?
Well,
Oh, here, Sheena was gonna leave us.
Okay, everyone, we're live and we're going.
Okay, good morning. All righty,
who are we talking to this morning?
we are talking to Mike Brown,
If you look on the right-hand side, you can read that,
nice.
everybody.
Dan Miller, Abby, Mike Simmons, and Pat so far. And somebody with the phone. It ends in 1223. Okay, motion to acknowledge minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Drish, second by Hamilton. All in favor?
Aye.
Couple notes, we're using a microphone, so give us some feedback later and let us know how it works, so hopefully you can hear us better. And that was the minutes. April 5th. Okay, Ray sent us he needed a letter, so this is, we'll do this one real quick and then we'll come back, Scott, since it's right here. Letter of support for Ray Chambers to provide referrals to Rolling Hills Coalition Tenant-Based Rental Assistance Program. He just needed approval. Basically, it's so he can provide referrals for homelessness to this program. So I'll make a motion, we approve that.
Second.
Okay, motion by Sandquist, seconded by Hamilton. Any discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Scott, good morning.
Morning. Let's see. Crew's done blading of gravel roads. Now we're doing blading for dust control. There's about 65 dust control permits right now. And they did brush cutting using the mulching head in District 1. And then culvert replacements and repairs on a driveway and a culvert in District 4. Ditching in District 4, edge rut repair, they're doing spots on B64. And equipment maintenance is an ongoing thing. They've been using the total patcher to patch potholes on Jefferson, Van Buren Road and other locations. Rock hauling to various spots, spot rock hauling on roads, some soft spots some due to rain, things like that. And then rock hauling for dust control in Brookville, on Brookville Road. Let's see, sign repair and sign installation. That's what the crew's been working on, been continuing with project closeout information on Vetch, on Pleasant Plain Road.
Yeah, how are we on that?
It's just coming along.
How much do we have left?
Hopefully less than 2 weeks worth of
Yes,
work.
hopefully so. On 257th Street, that's a bundle bridge. The contractor hasn't started on that, but the contractor put in for the whole bundle, for mobilization, they can get something like 10%. And apparently that can include ours, so processed a claim or voucher for about $3,900 to cover part of that mobilization. I mean, the Jefferson County part, even though he hasn't mobilized here, apparently this is something the DOT said isn't acceptable practice by the contractor requested it. And we have the maps that I presented. This is preliminary version, draft version. It's ready to go when the board approves it. I don't know if we have to have a call for a special meeting.
What, how soon do you need it?
That's got to be turned in the 15th. Very late.
So 2 days from now.
Well, shall we go through it? We talked about it last week. So this is a written version of what we talked about last week?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And probably 90% of it, 85% of it is in the last version that was approved. So we just shifted some things around. According to, when Calhoun Burns comes in and does bridge reports, we get an update on how certain bridges are doing. So some bridges were moved up. We added a bridge to the program, and so everything else that's and for the 5th year, we had to add in farm to market rock contract, and then a local rock contract, and then seal coat. We still have 8 places with seal coat on it in 2026. So yeah, the first 3 items on page 2, the seal coat, granular maintenance, granular servicing, those 3 that we'll have every year. And there is a seal coat. We should probably just do a seal coat on 817 that goes from Highway 1 to east of Pleasant Plain Road.
What page was that on?
Should page 2.
Yeah, the very bottom item.
Okay,
Well, the FM seal coat is.
Oh,
top
clear up the top, farm to market field. Yeah.
And then page 3
220.
is 220th Street bridge replacement with tanker cars. So that means the local money, 55,000. 117th Street bridge replacement. Replace the bridge with tanker cars. $60,000. Orange Boulevard bridge replacement with a low water stream crossing. It's moved up a little because of the condition of the bridge. It's going to end up being closed. And that's up to a dirt road. So, see, that's 75,000. Could be less than that, but what did we say? And then Cedar Avenue bridge replacement. That's 675,000. 175th Street bridge replacement in Maharishi Vedic City. Use a city bridge fund. Grass Tree Avenue bridge replacement. 570,000. That's down south of Libertyville. And then Libertyville Road. 850,000 for HMA overlay. 32nd Street HMA overlay, 430,000. On page 5, again, we're starting FY 2023, so we start out with the granular surfacing, farm to market and local, and the seal coat maintenance. Bottom one on that page 5 is Palm Boulevard bridge replacement. That would be with 3 tanker cars, so $85,000. Top of page 6, Thunder Avenue, low water crossing. I have a design for it, 75,000. You buy our local crews, Jefferson County crews. 165th Street bridge replacement with tanker cars. That's the north side of Vedic City, and I have the Vedic City and the county would split the cost on that, 54,000. Because it's half in the city and half in the county. And then Teak Avenue Bridge, we did supplemental piling, and to that one, 75,000. Libertyville Road Bridge replacement. That's $2,200,000. That's the one that we put in for state funds, and we're getting closer to the top of the list. So it might not go in 2023, but eventually we'll get there. Then top of page 7, 148th Street bridge replacement, 570,000. That's one that we repaired to get us by till this replacement can happen. Then we're into fiscal year 2024 again, so granular surfacing, farm to market and local, and then seal coat maintenance. Page 8, Inco Avenue bridge replacement, that's 25,000. Should be able to just tear that out with a single tank car in there. That won't even be a bridge anymore, won't be classified as a bridge anymore. Then 220th Street. It's another one where we would add supplemental piling, do some deck patching. 84,000 on that. And 136th Street Bridge replaced with tanker cars. That one I'll take a little bit of study because there's a some buildings, so we have to probably have a flooding event associated with that. And then last one on the page, Stockport Road Bridge. We added this one because we didn't have it in there when we put in for the build grant, but this one, we're also making it further up towards the top of the list. And it's $2,100,000. And top of page 9, Carnation Boulevard. Do some bridge rehabilitation work on it. 260,000 on that. It's been down Buckeye Avenue Bridge replacement over Cobbletine Creek. 580,000. Next one down, H17, Onyx asphalt overlay. That goes from the Packwood Road west to the county line. That'll be similar to the work we did with the bond projects and the veg clay. So that's $2,100,000. And then starting 2025, so we got granular surfacing, local and farm to market, seal coat maintenance. Takes us to the third one down on page 10. Henry Jefferson Avenue Bridge replacement, even though this is a county line road, where this bridge is, the road veers over totally into Jefferson County and then back. So
Is that a gravel road?
it's dirt.
Yeah, I thought so.
And we do that with tank cars. It's not considered a bridge per se, because it's 19 and a half feet span. And then below that is 225th Street Bridge replacement. Replacing that with tanker cars. On top of page 11, Iris Avenue Bridge replacement. Let's see, that'd be 486,000. Cedar Avenue, below that Cedar Avenue Bridge replacement, that's with just a twin concrete box culvert, 250,000.
Is that one that they're gonna leave the bridge in and build the culvert underneath it, or is that
No.
tear it out?
It's just a timber bridge.
Oh, okay.
And could do tanker cars on it if it didn't have a house just right up the street.
Oh.
And we tend to use those on places where there's not much risk.
Just backup
Yeah.
flooding because of the tanker car.
Yeah, so this one would be studied more in depth during the design phase.
Okay.
And so we're starting 2026, so we've got granular surfacing, local and farm to market again, and then seal coat maintenance. And 145th bridge replacement with tanker cars. That would be a triple. Which we haven't done any triples yet. Then below that, Libertyville Road, HMA overlay. This is further closer to Libertyville. It'd be part of what's had some patching and was proposed to have some more patching. And hold it together till we do the overlay or till the overlay is done. And then below that is Birch Avenue HMA overlay. That is there by the Pekin School. We patched it, bond funds. And last one is Packwood Road, that way north of Packwood. I just figured by that time I'll probably need.
Sure.
Yeah, by that time.
So,
Oh, nice breakdown here. All right, thanks. Do you have an electronic version of this that you could send us?
I could scan it in.
Oh, okay. No, we can use this. I just thought you might. I know you have to upload it probably to wherever it has to
Yeah,
go.
well, right now it's in draft version, and then we put it in.
And it's on the DOT site, right?
Not yet.
Well, it will be
Yeah, it
eventually.
will be.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, when I go into the Service Bureau, and call up the 5-year program, it
Yeah.
can,
Sure. Okay. No, that's fine.
I would make a recommendation that we approve this 5-year program as set forward.
Okay.
So that it can be turned in on April 15th.
I second the motion.
Okay, motion by Hamilton, seconded by Dredge to approve the secondary roads 5-year program. Any discussion? Thanks, Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
Anything else for us?
I don't think so.
All right, thank you. Number 3, discuss and consider noxious weeds resolution. We do this every year. And fostering environmental health. So official notice to all property owners, resolution for destruction of noxious weeds. Be it resolved by Board of Supervisors. Each owner and person in the possession or control of any lands in Jefferson County shall cut, burn, or otherwise destroy all noxious weeds thereon as defined in this chapter, which is 317, 2021 Code of Iowa, at such times in each year and in such manner as it shall be prescribed by the Board of Supervisors. Each owner, each person in possession or control of any lands in Jefferson County shall also and shall keep said lands free from such growth of any other weeds as shall render the streets and highways adjoining said lands unsafe for public travel. Noxious weeds shall be cut or otherwise destroyed on or before the following date and as often as necessary to prevent seed production. May 15th, 2021 for immediate eradication of Palmer amaranth, for control of leafy spurge, Canada thistle, bull thistle, teasel, multiflora rose, field bindweed, all other species of thistles belonging to the genus of Cardus and water hemp. That each owner and each person in the possession or control of any lands in Jefferson County infested with noxious weeds, including the immediate eradication of Palmer amaranth and the control of leafy spurge, Canada thistle, bull thistle, teasel, multiflora rose, field bindweed. All other species of thistles belonging to the genus of Cardus and water hemp shall adopt a program of weed destruction described by the weed commissioner, which in 5 years may be expected to destroy and will immediately keep under control such infestation of said noxious weeds, that if the owners or person in possession or control of any land in Jefferson County fail to comply with the foregoing orders, the weed commissioner shall cause this to be done, and the expense of said work, including costs of serving notice and other costs, if any, to be assessed against the land and the owners thereof. That the county auditor be and is hereby directed to cause notice of the making and entering of the foregoing order by one publication in the official newspapers of the county. Resolution passed on. Do we have a motion to adopt this?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Drish, seconded by Hamilton. Any discussion? Anything you want to say, Dan? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right. I'll sign that one. Okay, discuss and consider nuisance contract, which is in our packets and was emailed to you last week. So I'll entertain any comments or discussion on it. I think we've kind of gone through the history here for quite a while.
We have,
And
I would like to move that we approve this memorandum of understanding with Regional Utility Services System of 1501 West Washington Street, Suite 103 in Mount Pleasant, Iowa, to continue with our nuisance contract.
okay, I'll second that. Do we have any discussion?
I will say again, I wish we would have maybe put this out for bid. I understand that Russ does a very good job, but I'm always wanting to have something in the county and not go out of the county for services if we could. And I'm not sure we've really done that.
I think, I'm speaking for myself, I know we've had a long struggle, and I'd like to give Russ one more year here, and maybe we work up a formal bid if you want to come up with some criteria and take that on, but we need to get this resolved by the end of March, basically, so, or wait, no, the end of April, I'm sorry. So we still have a couple weeks. Would you have any criteria, and would it be only cost basis, or would there, 'cause here's the thing. I know we have 2 bids right now that would be less, but sometimes doing less, you're gonna get less too. And we already have somebody that has shown they do a good job, and I do totally understand you're wanting to keep it in the county, which I think long-term could be a good thing to do.
Yeah.
I'm hesitant mid-road until we get through this initial brunt, which we're almost through, to change horses, but that's just my thought. Do you have any idea on what criteria it could be?
Not at this time, but I do believe you wouldn't just look at the money, you would look at the quality of service that you get.
And how would we evaluate that in a bid?
We'd have to do the bid, we'd have to sit down and as a council and do that. But I'm just saying that I wish we could have done this by bid, and I've said that for several months now. So that's okay.
Yeah, I guess anytime it's okay to bring a proposal here to us to look at. I guess in this instance, I'm going to ask for a vote since we have a motion and a second. And I would certainly encourage that be brought to us if you think it could be done by the end of March, but let's go ahead. We've got this.
The end of April.
Or the end of April. I keep looking at the March calendar, I'm sorry. Any thoughts from you, Darren?
No, I'm
Okay.
fine.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. 2 in favor and 1 opposed. Alrighty.
So this will need to be signed by the chairman.
Yeah, I need to, I buried my agenda. Discuss and consider salary increase for employee in sheriff office, and that is would be effective 5/1, where it's a resolution in Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. Whereas Iowa Code Section 331.903 states that the number of deputies, assistants, and clerks for each office shall be determined by the board, and the number and approval of each appointment shall be adopted by a resolution recorded in the minutes of the board. And whereas Jefferson County Sheriff desires to increase one correctional officer salary to correctional officer sergeant, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Supervisors of Jefferson County, Iowa, that the Jefferson County Sheriff is authorized to increase the salary for correctional officer, I hope I said this correctly, Sujata, is that correct, Brooklyn? Be it also resolved by the Board of Supervisors of Jefferson County, Iowa, that Sujata's Brooklyn salary increases from $35,593 to $41,874.26 effective May 1st. Any comments? Bart?
Yes, Sujata's been on a year probation. She'll be off that year probation starting May. So basically she moves to the regular correctional officer pay once they've completed a year probation. So she's right at there where all the other correctional officers are.
And I know that's usual procedure for your department, so thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for this?
I would move that we approve this resolution for increase in salary for Sujata Birkeland.
I'll second it. Motion by Hamilton, seconded by Sandquist. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We're going to take a moment here and catch up on paperwork.
One thing to bring up about the bond funds.
Can we wait for public comment
Yeah,
on that?
Didn't know if that would be
Yeah.
something that would be committee related. Or
Yeah, we have
Yeah, that'd
committee
be-
reports next. That could be potentially be committee, but we can do public comment, that's fine. Committee reports? Anything?
I don't have anything. I will be going to the Rust Board meeting on tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Okay, Susie?
I had an early childhood meeting last week, and for the most part, we basically talked about things in general, but we were discussing at length the AmeriCorps volunteer and how that could be of use to them. And I think they're going to go ahead and do that.
Oh, what are they thinking of doing with that? That's great.
Just somebody to help Tammy.
Well, that's good. I did a lot of committee work for internal operations. One of them that's going on with mental health is there's 3 counties in our 8-county region that don't have an access center. And the governance board has asked for Optima to be appointed to that. The Mental Health Commission at their last meeting in March did not act on it. They tabled it, and that group meets again on April 15th, I think it is. So we have sent support to for that so that it affects Lee, Des Moines, and Jefferson County currently. And so committee meetings about path forward on that. There's several vacancies right now in the Mental Health Commission. waiting on the governor to appoint them, which hopefully will happen soon. I think she does that maybe in May. So that should help resolve that. But that's been the main thing other than some internal work. Public comments, any public comments? I know Scott's got one.
Here, you can't turn it that direction
Oh.
because you're wrapping everything right up, Dee.
All right,
It was just about the
sure. Yeah.
remaining bond fund money and.
Yeah.
And
I saw an email that you'd sent out, and it sounds like there's only $193,000 that's
Yeah.
available yet of the over $300,000 because we've committed some funds. Previously, the $143,000, if I'm recalling right, was committed for some other projects that we had done.
Well, it was preliminary work on the bond projects and,
Okay,
the bond money wasn't available to pay for it, but
Sure.
it was approved that once we got it, we covered those, and that was passed by the board
Sure.
September 30th of 2019. And, I was checking with Shannon, past 3 or 4 weeks about the bond fund and she, I asked her about that 141,000 and she said that she looked it up and said, well, she can't find where it was ever transferred to the department, to the road department like it's supposed to be to
Right.
reimburse us. So if that gets transferred, like it's supposed to, but I think that she said the treasurer's office is supposed to do it, then
so have you talked to Mark or do we need to
I
do?
haven't talked to him about it. I just discovered that or
Okay,
just got that ironed out Friday, so,
okay. Why don't you work with Shannon and Mark on that?
okay.
All right, yeah, because we did previously approve that when we first did the bond funds. Thank you.
Got it.
All right, any other public comments? Not hearing any. Okay, motion to allow claims and approve reports.
So moved.
I second.
Second, moved by Hamilton, second by Dresch. All in favor?
Bye,
Aye.
Scott.
Discuss and consider nuisance properties. Anything?
We have cleanup completed out at the property on Old US 34 to the west of Fairfield. So we're all done there at that location. So that would be, that would conclude the ones that we had for cleanup for this fiscal year. The next ones won't start until sometime after the 1st of July for our next fiscal year, which we've already appropriated $50,000 in order to start moving with those. We do have some decisions to make as far as how we're going to reprioritize everything. We have people that were through the court processes and have been fined, but have yet to have cleaned up their properties, but they weren't as badly full of junk as what the 3 properties we cleaned up this year were. So we're going to have to make some decisions based off of what we want to do with those. I've gotten a list of information from Pat McVan concerning those properties that were previously convicted and have been through the court process. I'm still waiting on Russ to provide me with the list of properties that they're currently working on that have not gone into the court process yet, but I'll talk to Bruce again tomorrow when I see him at that Russ board meeting, and maybe we can get something at that time. I know you're on with us, Bruce. Do you have any comment about that?
We actually put a list together yesterday or the day before. Some of these are still in their estate stuff. So we need to figure out what we're going to do with those. And then there's I don't know, 11 or 12 people that are currently on the list that we're working with. Not everybody's going to go or have gone through the court process, but there's a few here that have. And then you guys will have to make decisions on what we do with those properties.
Bruce, can you speak up just a little, please?
Sure. Is that any better?
Yeah, I'm still working out some bugs with the speaker, the sound system here. We've got the microphone part of it worked out. I just need to be able to get somehow to have the sound a little bit louder. I'm sorry, we're in the middle of our meeting right now, Dave. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So for any, okay, go ahead. Right, Bruce?
Are you talking to me, Dee?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anything else?
So just basically, we're trying to work through the individuals. We got the names, and I think we're with the ones that are in the estate. I don't know that we'll be doing a whole lot with, but we'll inform you guys what those are. A few of them have gone through the court process, and really nothing has been done.
Yeah,
So
we
you
know
guys
the
will have to make a
estate
decision at
ones
some point.
are tricky. Okay. I got a couple calls last week, totally different. One was from in the city and one was out of the city, related to apartments and tenants. And it's just interesting that all of a sudden I'm getting these calls, and we typically don't get involved in those. I did call Bruce. He was going to do a drive-by on the one of them. Since one was in the city, I didn't call him on that one, but I just thought it was interesting.
I also received a call from Bart last week regarding a property. There's not a whole lot we can do to it since it's in the ordinance that, if it's a legitimate business. But I think he was going to talk to Scott because maybe there's some cars in the right of way. I don't know if he's done that yet, but the other property we reached out to, and it sounds more like a landlord-tenant issue, more so than a nuisance issue, and we don't have a whole lot of teeth within the ordinance
no.
unless it's a dilapidated building.
No, and I called Chauncey about that when I initially got the call before I called you, and he said there's a lot of landlord-tenant ways to remediate things, so that's his recommendation, to follow the landlord-tenant. And of course, he just had to jump off. But Mike, if that's, you're still on, that was the thought there. So I just thought it was interesting after all this time that we get these calls and don't appear to be related, it's just interesting. Okay, we're gonna take, what do you wanna do, a 5-minute break? Well, we're gonna have a fire alarm here if you're in the courthouse at 9:21. So we'll wait till that's over, and then we're gonna have our continue, so we're not gonna adjourn. It's just us looking at what Shannon gave us for the budget amendments. So that's what the budget work session's on. All right, thank you.
Hey, Darren, can you bring a copy of that signed contract tomorrow to the meeting?
Yes, I can do that, Bruce.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay.
Can I have yours?
Which one's that?
Nuisance.
Memorandum?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, she's gonna want the one that's.
Darren, can you answer a question for me?
Yes. Let me do this for a moment. All right, we're going to resume the meeting. Dee?
Yeah, so let's just look through here and see what questions. I know it'd be a lot easier if Shannon's here, and I'm guessing we want to meet with her, but she forgot when she scheduled this. She couldn't be here today. So Board of Supervisors, so ours is the revenue that we've received from the state. And I'm on the revenue amendment sheet, okay? page 1. And then the one that says at the top revenue amendment.
Okay,
First
It
one.
looks
I've
like
got
this.
Page
two of
1.
them, revenue amended.
This one, revenue amendment.
Are you talking page 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, page 1 of, yeah, I gotcha.
One's detailed. It looks, I don't know what the difference. She's given us 2, but we'll go through this one. So that's on page 1. County engineer. So what she's got here is the re-estimated from that. So just look through that. It's says at the top revenue amendment.
Is that on page 9?
Yes. She's just given us the revenue amendments.
Sure.
So
Oh, there's none.
down here they have, looks like they sold some old equipment, used metals, permits. So theirs is. Let's see.
Looking through this list, it appears there's a couple of re-estimated numbers that are higher.
Yeah, it's a,
The road use taxes were up, and local option sales tax was up for those.
and the total that the revenue increase there was $273,037.
Right, which would be about what it shows, because road use tax money was estimated at $2,594,446, and it's now estimated at $2,813,769, and then local option sales tax estimate went from $135,000 to $160,000. So that's 15,000 there, and then the other would be.
Okay, the next one's Veterans Affairs, and it's 10,000 increase. The next one is Conservation Board. Theirs looks like it's, let's see what their total is.
It looks like it's.
Resource enhancement, oh, rate. So is that 63,000?
Yeah, that's
Wow.
why I was.
Taking a double take.
No, I wasn't really taking a double.
I know,
take
she's got
there.
a star beside it, so I guess we'll have to figure out what that is.
Right, it was the actuals from 2021 were the $63,031, which now the re-estimated 2021 is 63,331, but the year-end
Year's
estimate
estimate.
was 10,000.
So that tells me they got something and they're gonna spend it, so it'll go off on the other side when we get to expenditures.
Probably.
All right, general relief, looks like that's crossed out. All right, so now I'm going to the one that says budget amendment review expenses, this one.
Yeah.
Page 4, right?
it
Yeah,
begins with
supervisors, ours is 54,164 for nuisance cleanup.
Right.
And let's just scan down there and see if there's anything too unusual. No.
We have the COVID funding that's kind of slid
Yeah.
in between there.
That's on next page,
Yeah,
page 5.
Page 5.
If you look, she added that in there. Oh, she's balancing that off.
Right,
She's
this-
just balancing it so that we can carry it over.
The ICAP and the tort liability for ICAP and the EBS partial self-funding
Yep,
have gone up
Yep.
by 30,000 and by 17,000 over what it was previously,
over what the budget was budgeted.
what was budgeted.
Yep,
So those are
and
the
we knew that.
two. That's
Okay, next page is, this looks like this. Okay, this looks like dispatch and sheriff's, Bart. So we have a sheet that looks like that.
your two.
Yes, I believe that's it. I
Yeah.
don't have it in
So
front
tell
of
us
me,
what
but
this is, and let me see if I can,
You can't get it any louder, Dee. That's as
Okay.
loud as it's gonna go.
all right,
So,
can you hear me?
yes.
Yes.
just speak up.
Okay, will do. So there's a little bit of explanation by each one. If there's some sort of question you have or the board has, I'm here with Mike also. There were some issues in the jail this budget year. Most of the expense on that is the tower upgrade that would come out of this year's budget that was supposed to be last year's budget.
Okay,
There was a few other things like the handicap approach to our jail visitation area. The concrete was all broke up. We had to replace it. There was corroded water lines back in the jail, which was a big chunk of money too. We actually sprung a leak and they found that all the copper lines were corroding.
so all of these are expenses on this whole page, right?
I didn't hear you, Dee.
All of these are expenses on this whole page?
The top three lines are money that is there
Could you say that again?
under those line items.
The top three lines are what? Are they revenue?
We lost your sound, Bart.
I think you just
Okay.
mentioned-
No, there's no revenue on there.
There's no revenue.
Okay,
Hey, Bart, this is Susie. This top three, that you're just transferring from one
Right.
place to another for all those.
Right, those top three is
Yeah.
money
Yeah.
already that's in those accounts. We basically just have to show that we spent that money and it needs to go towards that.
okay, good. Thank you. And so of this bottom information, I want to go through this so we know how much is related to the dispatch communications. So obviously the tower is, the Motorola is, the radios are, generator, new tower. What's
Yeah,
this?
there's
What's this?
several line items there that were related to the communication part of it. I know we meet at 10.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Is that what you're trying to get an idea on?
Now, this COVID expense, which is 2,900 plus, you might talk to Shannon, because you might be able, from the funding that, was received when you turned in your expenses to Melissa in December, you might be able to get that revenue credited back.
Okay, okay.
So ask Shannon about that. I think she'll be here tomorrow. Okay. So basically, the ones above the COVID expenses, well, not all of those. I know the new tower, the 63,000 was supposed to have gone from last year's, but then it got over to this year. Is there anything else from last year that was put into this year's, or we didn't have the bills or whatever by then? I don't think so.
And actually, that's part of the expense. I mean, obviously there was a lot more than that spent last year's budget. So
Right,
that's only a portion because the completion wasn't done until this budget year.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
That makes sense.
Any other questions on this? Thanks for providing this. This is helpful.
No problem.
Okay. Ready to move on to county engineer? You want to look at that? Okay. Next one we've got, it says county engineer at the top, page 20. And it looks like construction, and this was 12 million instead of 2.
No, I think that's.
No,
the
that's
bracket.
2 million. I'm reading the
Yeah.
bracket. You're right. Never mind. It's not, well, it's
Yeah,
the
the only
same.
one that has went up, it looks like it was 2,000
In
here
administration.
on administration.
Okay,
When we stayed the same with the engineering line item of 320,000.
Yep.
We went up $5,000 on bridges. And we went down $5,000 on culverts. So that would be one that would balance itself out. We went up $10,000 on the roads line item budget. And we went up, no, we stayed the same with the surface maintenance. And we stayed the same with the roadside maintenance for ditches and ditching. It looks like we went up $30,000 for snow and ice control. And we stayed the same for the traffic control line item at $180,000. Looks like we're going up $10,000 in road cleaning, brush cutting, that kind of thing. So, and we stayed the same with the new equipment line item. We went up on the equipment operations from $325,000 to $390,000. So that would be 65,000. And we also went up by $15,000 on equipment supplies. We went up $10,000 on sundry items. We stayed the same on tools and maintenance supplies. We went down by 35,000
yeah, good night.
on
Real estate and building.
yeah,
No,
real estate and buildings. We then have a total now, instead of $6,969,000 to $7,066,000, and that was an increase of $97,000 on expenditures. And we had revenue that was added of $231,000. And the amendment reason here that's given is a hard winter caused increases in snow and ice control and road maintenance, which
happens.
is very true, and it happens.
Okay, COVID relief.
Yep. And
This is what we got.
this just shows what we received for that. And then Iowa DOT's local systems bureau is the last.
All right,
There.
let's see.
We're doing well there. We've got Veterans Affairs next.
Okay. So he's got stationary office supplies was more. Veteran outreach was more. I'll have to ask him. He wasn't, his light was dark just a little bit ago. I don't know if he's there. I can look over there and see. Office equipment. I know he got a new printer, but we'll look at his revenue.
That's supplied by the
The
federal
federal
government.
government, but he would have had to pay for it. So let's go back to revenue and see. Did he have anything on there? Veterans, see, he had revenue over here, so I'm guessing that could have something.
What's the line item for the revenue?
Grants. The last numbers are 3,200-262,600. 262.
6,000, you mean?
Let me see. Right sheet of paper here. No,
Okay.
262,600. Let me see if there's another one here. No, then it goes to conservation.
Okay.
I don't know. So far, all of them have looked normal stuff. His is usually pretty normal. I know it looks like that one report we saw that he sends us every month looked like there were several burials
Yeah.
that were probably over.
This office equipment line item, that may be where the
Printer is.
printer is
Mhm.
in there and where some of that grant funding is going to.
Yeah,
So dues and membership fees
and then,
only went up by $50. So,
yeah. Okay, so that doesn't really give a summary,
No.
but
it doesn't.
that's kind of
Quite
the
like
only
it was.
question mark as to what is it, but.
Yeah.
Conservation Board, see, here's the star that was on the revenue, so that's probably a wash.
Right, that's wash.
Let's see, no,
And the letter that goes along with that is,
oh, here it is, right
Yeah.
here in the letter.
right,
REAP account expenditure up to 56,363 account was used to pay for new pond construction at Zolman Hickory Hills.
mhm.
We have been reimbursed 51,761. Okay, that was it.
Okay.
That was a
Just-
very nice explanation from the
Yeah.
Conservation Board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was.
Um,
And then we also have, we're moving on then to
District Court.
district court. I've got a general relief. I don't have a district court.
Dee, Darren, Ethan,
Yeah,
do you guys plan on making a decision on that today? Approve, disapprove?
are we making a decision on this today?
No, well, that always goes formally on our, this is just for us to see what people are asking for.
Okay,
So there's no decision now, other than if we have questions, we come back to somebody and ask. But you all provided some good information for us.
thank you.
So thanks for that. That's helpful.
You bet. We'll
Yeah.
leave you be and
Um,
go on. Thank you.
It'll be on our agenda whenever Shannon says the timeline is there. Speaking of
Very
which, she
good.
did say we can move it back just a little, and I don't know, I'm gonna really leave that up to her. I just wanted.
Yeah, if you're wanting to get off, then that's
Yeah.
fine. We aren't gonna make a decision.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
yep, thank you.
You bet.
Abby, I doubt if you have the answer, but since you're on, I'll just ask, do you know what the VA one is for veterans? And that's fine if you don't.
Let me look.
And I know she doesn't have a mic. I'm gonna see
Right.
Phrase over here. He wasn't.
Yeah. Well, this has got the funeral services on it, increase from it, and there was a salary increase.
Where's that?
That's on
First
the
line, second
general relief for the
Oh, I see.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. See, and I see where you got the district court, which is right above that. That's just the finished totals from the sheet previous. If we had had the sheets and number
Yeah,
from sheet
okay.
39, so there is no
Oh, okay, got it.
district court stuff.
I'm guessing what that salary was, remember, was it last year? I think Lee was still here.
He went
He
from,
started working.
Hold on just a second. Were you saying something, Abby?
oh, I was just gonna say, didn't he go from, part-time and he added more hours?
Yeah, that's just what I was gonna say. He
And
added hours in
Yeah.
because he started extending his day. Yeah, that would be
Doesn't he
that.
also get a $10,000 grant every year?
Oh, and he gets a
So he
grant
has
every
a
year.
budget amendment every year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. All
Yep.
right. Anything else on that one?
No,
All right,
that should do it. That should be all of them that were there to look at.
all right. The only other question or comment I'm gonna say, is, I have this email, I'm gonna read to you. I'll press and I'll forward it as soon as I get on my computer. So I can forward it from my phone, doesn't work. And it came really,
Did you get a hold of her then? Were you able
no,
to
I was
talk
gonna
to her?
wait, because I wanted to talk to both of you, because I didn't know this was first. I thought they'd call her anyway.
So
Let me
this
get on.
is with budget though.
This has to do with budgeting.
Okay, all right. I just
Because
want to make sure that we're,
Our agenda, but yeah, because she's requesting a budget amendment for this year. So,
yeah, we need to at least see that. If she sent it to you, it needs to be,
well, here's,
Forwarded
it
on
came
to
really
us.
late Friday or Saturday night, it was weird. And it was to an email I very rarely use. And so
yeah,
I
you were explaining that.
texted her back and said, just send it to the county one, and there was no detail, it's just
Who-
like.
who
I
was
want
this
a
from?
budget amendment.
Chris
That's
Hessel.
all.
No, she didn't work yesterday.
She worked at home apparently.
Yeah.
Because I tried to call the
Yes.
office.
Yeah, she worked well.
And
Yes.
when
Well, she did work, but she was working off-site.
Did you happen to talk to her yesterday?
Mhm.
Did she mention this?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
We were just talking about COVID procedures and stuff.
Okay, so here, I'm forwarding all this to you, but I'll read it since we're together. And it has to do with budget.
Well, you could also print it. And 3 copies.
Yep. It's a long trail. That's okay. I'm also gonna print this stuff on this. Well, there's several, it's long, so there'll be more. So this would have been, oh, we're going to be the whole thing.
Yeah, you just, that's all. This
Oh,
is
it's
just
it's
that
front and
this-
back.
Yeah.
So turn it over. All right.
Yeah.
So here. Thursday. Okay, this is the one that came to the county, but it started later.
Right.
So start at the bottom of
Shannon.
page 1. Hi, Shannon and Melissa. I have had discussions with the BOS and Board of Health regarding the supplemental payment for all the public health employees. This would be a one-time payment to our team for supplemental pay, dedication and access to me and beyond what's considered normal job expectations during this ongoing pandemic response. I wanted this to take place prior to the budget amendment process this fiscal year. This would come from our CARES funding that has been received. Please let me know how to move forward. Then, see, that was Thursday. Then Monday, will you need a budget amendment from Shannon? And then, so are you asking the board to push back the budget amendment timeline, Shannon? I think Chris answered something to her there.
Yeah, she did, yes. There was a very simple, short answer from Chris that
Yes,
she wanted a budget amendment. And then Shannon said, so
Yeah.
you're asking the board to push back the budget amendment timeline, and then she answers, the BOH and the BOS were aware of this situation, the money is here, so if we need to push it back, then yes, I am out of the office today.
so here's the thing. I called Shannon and said, I remember we talked about the board. We're gonna give them a 5% raise next year. And I tried to call you, and then I called Darren to validate that. And Darren said, yeah, that's what he remembered. Is that what you remember? I don't
Yeah.
remember
Using
anything about
COVID funds
supplemental
for an extra payment.
Well, we had discussed,
before the
giving-
5%.
yeah, we had discussed prior to the 5%.
Yeah.
Giving them a one-time thing.
Right,
But then we gave the 5% thing.
right.
Because
Melissa was here.
Mr. Jones was here and Chris.
Uh-huh.
And I said to her, I said, so this takes care of it, right? And she said, yes. So I just want to make sure we are on the
Right.
same page, and Shannon is too, because she looked up her notes and she said, yeah, that's what I have, because we changed the 2% and added the 3% in
Right.
for their budget. So
And it's not like they're getting a one-time 5%. It's
forever,
That's
Forever.
forever.
which
Yeah,
I know we all kind of grimaced at the time anyway. So I would like to respond to her in an email from us that would just basically say, this is our understanding, it's a 5% increase for next year. We did this instead of the one-time supplemental payment at your
Mhm.
request. Is that?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would also like to include, maybe if you just look for the next 5 years, this is what you really got from us with this 5%.
Yeah, like,
In lieu of, Ryan, she can do it.
yeah,
so.
yeah. And
let me
and
draft
that-
this right
yeah,
now.
that was the whole thing. She's asking for something that
In addition,
we pretty much made clear that they weren't going to do, that we were going to do the other, which is increase the salaries.
Mhm.
And that wouldn't take place until the beginning of July 1st. So if they're sitting around waiting for a check right now, that isn't going to happen, as far as I'm concerned. Because that was not what we had.
You know, and
Agreed to.
don't get me wrong, I think the girls over there have done a very good job.
Right, I do too. I've got no qualms at what they've done and all of the just plain crap that they had to put up with from the general public. Especially with when the vaccine started to roll out. That was awful, that people were that selfish that they would do that to others. And I just,
Okay.
I
I'm going to say initially the Board of Supervisors suggested a one-time supplemental pay to public health employees.
And we looked into that.
Mhm.
When we met with you and Melissa, you requested a 5% increase for fiscal year 2022. Can I say instead of the supplemental pay? Or it was
Yeah,
Instead of the,
yeah. Instead
the
of
supplemental pay. Which is our understanding, is the BOS understanding. I'll word that. Anyway, I
Yeah.
just want to make sure we are all on the same page, because we all know this probably will not, could have some
correct.
Right.
drama.
They'll be done.
But to make
Not
sure,
probably. there
so
will
this
be
is
drama.
budget related. And
So
it's budget amendment related, because
Yep.
So essentially,
I'm gonna draft it right now.
depending on what Chris makes, it would,
She makes
Be about-
$10,000 more.
she makes about 78,000.
She, yeah, and she,
Mhm.
that is
And so-
10,000 more than Henry County Public
I know.
Health Director and Wapello
This is
County.
where I was going with that. She makes 78,000. Let's say you take that times a 5% increase, you've got 81,000. 81 something, I think it was 81.8. That's almost a $4,000 raise. Then, let's say next year's 2%. That's
Mhm. Mhm.
2% of the 81, so you're
Yeah,
still
it's
just
town.
adding up and adding up.
What do you want me to end it with? Would you prefer a one-time supplemental payment instead of?
No, I don't want to change the option that we did. We aren't going to go back and say,
Alright.
okay, you're not going to get the 5%. You're going to get what everybody else
We're just
was.
gonna go with
We're just
what-
going to go with that.
I just want to make sure.
Because
we're
that's
all-
what we stated that day.
Yeah, and the reason we did that was because, and I think it might start a very dangerous precedent, because everybody else is gonna think they need that one time.
Right,
So,
right.
and,
Good.
Okay.
All right. All right, anything else for the cause today? I don't think so.
No, I think that
Thank you,
should
Abby.
take care of it for us. Thanks, Abby.
Thank you, Abby.